And a very good evening, nearly tomorrow morning, to you all late tea time podders around the world. We always say we come to you as late as possible on a Wednesday to bring you all the latest gossip and rumours from the courses around the world. Well, it is very, very late on a Wednesday because me and DT have been actually working together most of today. Just got home and we thought we'd bring you the Late Tea Time podcast. We have a mystery guest coming up later. A familiar face on the Late Tea Time pod has sent us a little... audio clip from Bahrain, looking ahead to the Bahrain Championship. But we're going to start with Pebble Beach. DT, first of all, I know this already because I've only literally said goodbye to you about 15 minutes ago. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I have no change in the last 15 or minutes or half an hour, it has to be said. But good to see you again, of course. And we're going to start off with Pebble Beach. I've put the the markets as they were probably about 6 hours ago now, going across the bottom of the screen there, and plenty of top names. Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler are leading the market. My mate Victor Hovland just behind them in terms of the prices. But in terms of who you think is going to win, where we can find the betting value, Dave Tindall, where are we going to look?
Yeah, a bit of a different format this year for Pebble Beach. Normally it's one of those ones where you get a few good names, a sprinkling of them, but you've got the full shebang this week because it's a signature event. So that's elevated. So all the big guns, Rory's coming here for the first time in a while. It did hold the 2019 US Open, but a lot of the top guys haven't been back since. It doesn't quite fit into the schedule. But here, proper event, signature event, just 80 players rather than the usual 156. So it's like the elite. And a slight change in format in terms of the courses. Normally you had 3 courses and then you play Pebble on the final day. This time you've got 3 goes at Pebble and then one round. Okay. Yeah, one pre-weekend round at Spyglass Hill. So
I've played that course on the Tiger Woods golf.
Yeah, it's a good one, wasn't it? I remember that. What now you said that? Yeah, it's been a while.
But hitting across that water, isn't it? On the 18th, the famous 18th, where you
famous 18th at Pebble. Yeah, I've stood.
Been lucky to the left, isn't it?
Been lucky enough to stand there a couple of times. I went to the 2000 US Open here, the one that Tiger won by 15. So I was lucky to be there for that one, and I've been on holiday there once as well. Beautiful place, absolutely wonderful. So always good to watch on the TV. But you've not come here to hear me go bang on about how nice it looks. You want to know who might win. So
well, Stephen Ford, who's already messages on the chat, has said, hi, let's get some winners this week. Thumbs up. So who will the winners be, DT?
Yeah, so the official title of this event is the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. AT&T, obviously the telephone people. So Jordan Spieth, did you know this? He's an AT&T ambassador.
Is he?
There you go.
You don't get any higher honour than that in golf, do you?
Yes, so that's clearly a reason why he's going to win. But beyond that, I don't know. Maybe it adds 0.5% to something. So he's got extra drive to win. But more of that.
You'd imagine he gets looked after quite nicely. That
yeah, I think so. Yeah, who knows? They used to say, is it the RBC that sponsored events that the ambassadors sort of? I don't know. It just helps a little bit. But I think with Spieth, he said in his interview. So one of the good reasons for recording this late is we get to see the late interviews. It's California, West Coast time. So in the UK, we're quite a bit ahead of that. So we've only just got Jordan Spieth's interview in. So he said because of the 80-man field and more of the big guys, he says this has got more of a major feel than it has in the past. Well, Spieth absolutely loves the majors, so I think that will just get him nicely focused. And in any case, this is an event that is brilliant. I was checking his exact kind of run of results. So he's got a first, a second, a third, a fourth, a seventh, and a ninth. So he's virtually had everything here. 2 of those top 3s in the last 3 years. So every time he goes to Pebble, Jordan Spieth is just brilliant. So looking at his quotes, he's saying he's from Texas, obviously. He said because the weather back in Texas was kind of all-time bad, he got out to California early to have a bit of a practice. So just to soak up a bit of the supposedly better weather. But the weather forecast is bad for this week. I've just checked it again. It's rainy all 4 days, especially on the final day. He says that. He said, where are we? It looks like it will be unfortunate with the weather for a couple of days, but you kind of got to hang in there. Sunday looks the worst of it, but he knows how to play in bad weather. He's won an Open Championship. But he talked about his only start of the season so far, which was in the Century in Maui, where he finished third. He said, I'm excited about what the season can be. I feel like when I was in Maui, I felt like when I was teeing it up, I had a chance to win. I feel that way sitting here Wednesday afternoon now. It's a good feeling to know that and to go out and do what I feel I'm perfectly capable of doing. There's nothing holding me back right now. So he's not tinkering with a swing, or there's nothing troubling him. So he's got a clear run at this on a course. He loves Pebble Beach. And to me, looks really good each way. Bet material, that record is ridiculously good. So I think about 16-1 on Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, 16-1. You can get 7 places with 888 Sport. You can actually get 10 places with Coral, but you lose a little bit in terms of the fractions on the each way places. But options are out there for you on Jordan Spieth for roughly around about the 16-1 kind of mark.
Yeah, so he goes into the staking plan, and I've got one other one as well.
Oh, two at Pebble Beach. We're skimming 2 stones across the pebbles.
Yes, very good. So I was looking at Tour Tips, who sponsored us previously. I do look at their stats a lot, and I'm not sure I've delved into this one as much as I'd liked. So they've got stats for how everyone performs in wet weather, and obviously that's what we're going to get this week.
Yeah.
So I did message Tony, who runs that website, and just said, give me the exact explanation of your wet weather stats. Where are you deriving those from? So basically any round.
Are you asking how wet does it need to be, kind of thing?
Well, I was sort of saying, what period are those covering? Because it's got like a chart of every player and their average score in what's deemed wet weather.
Yeah.
So I guess, rainy. I don't get into the specifics of that, but so it's done over 5 years, and then an average is produced. So at the very top of that wet weather specialist list is Sam Burns, the American. And actually, it's quite striking. So his average score in any conditions is 69.08. In wet weather, it's 67.11. So it's nearly 2 shots difference when it's classed as wet weather. And that's based on his performances in rainy conditions over the last 5 years. So that obviously gets you interest. And then I've been looking at him recently, actually. He was 6th at the American Express on his last start. 4th at the Tour Championship if you wind back to last year. So he hasn't played much. He's got 2 top 6s in his last 3 starts. He's only had 1 go here at Pebble, 39th, which was all right. Nothing great, but nothing to be concerned about. I first look at it. And I think what you do need to do here is putt really well. Look at the past winners. They've been good putters. Well, Sam Burns certainly is that. He was 7th for strokes gained putting at the American Express. So in a funny way, he probably wouldn't want it to be wet here, but he might hopefully knows. Well, actually, in the wet weather, while some of the guys, cave in, or they just find putting umbrellas up and down a hassle, or getting wet on their kind of grips and everything, he seems to just deal with that better than most. So for whatever reason it is, Sam Burns likes the wet weather, or plays well in the wet weather. He's in good form. He's putting well. And he's a decent price as well.
Yeah, 35-1, 33s if you want a little bit more protection on the each way. But roughly that kind of remit for Sam Burns this week. So sounds like if you back him, hopefully it rains.
Well, the fork, I think you're guaranteed to get rain. Hopefully it's not the rain that will cause the event to run over into Monday. And we've seen that at Pebble. I think it went to Tuesday once. The one year they had to come back 6 months later because they couldn't fit the schedule in. I think Phil Mickelson won it that time.
That's a long time to wait for the trophy, isn't it? Or the winning putt.
I know. So hopefully we get done quicker. But as I say, Sam Burns, wet weather, the stats, the numbers say that's fine for him. That's good for him. So not everyone will be able to play as well in that. So yeah, I thought he had quite a nice package going for him, really. Sam Burns, a proven winner on the PGA Tour.
So Jordan Spieth and Sam Burns are our picks for Pebble Beach this week on the Late Tea Time podcast. So we'll take Pebble Beach off the screen, and it means that we move now to the Bahrain Championship. And a friend of the show, as they say, he's been on it a few times in DT's absence. He's Matt Cooper, and he is in Bahrain at the moment, DT, isn't he?
That's it. This is my work done now. Matt's done the Bahrain bit. Obviously, we're recording this late in the day, so if you're betting on Bahrain, you need to get that bet on fairly quick. So hopefully, if you're watching, jump onto the odds grids and get your bets on. But yeah, Matt's played in the Pro-Am there. He's got the very latest hot off the press news, including a bit of illness going around, which he'll elaborate on. It basically concerns Rasmus.
Don't give it all away.
Well, he's given me an update on it.
Well, give us the update after we've seen what Matt says.
Okay, let Matt take centre stage, and then
let's give Matt the next 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Then DT can elaborate an update after this. But Matt Cooper in Bahrain.
Hello from Bahrain, where I have just played the Pro-Am of the DP World Tour's new Bahrain Championship. And as you can tell from my start, I've come to the Middle East and learned how to pronounce Bahrain. Other than that, I have discovered that the course is quite an interesting one. It's not, I would say, the most picturesque, but it's a European golf design, co-designed with Colin Montgomery. And it might be worth noting that Paul Casey won when this course was used for the Volvo Golf Champions 13 years ago, and he had finished first and second at Carton House, which is another Colin Montgomery EGD design, and that was actually my first port of call when it came to thoughts for this week. And the Dutchman Joost Luiten has finished top 5 at Carton House, and he also won the Dutch in the KLM Open on yet another Colin Montgomery EGD design. Now, the first thing I learned when I actually got to the course yesterday was that Luiten had actually not received his golf clubs this week, so that was a bit of a downer. But I did see him this morning, and his clubs have got here, and he played 9 holes of the Pro-Am today. So I'm still quietly confident about his chances. I also quite like the chances of Pebble who finished 4th 2 weeks ago in Dubai. Missed the cut last week, but I think high expectations got the better of him. He's got a great record in this part of the world. He's also finished top 4 at Carton House, and he has just won, his team won, the Pro-Am, and talking to the team members, Pablo contributed plenty of birdies in that contest. A couple of other bits of information worth your consideration. First of all, the course. The greens are possibly the biggest defence. There's a couple of them that have really quite substantial slopes, and it's quite interesting. It's almost as if very good approach shots could garner birdies and eagles, but errant shots could really run up quite big numbers. So it's going to be important with the approach shots, I think. The second thing might be that we're forecast to get quite windy conditions on Friday and Saturday, so good wind performers are going to come to the fore, I would think. And the final thing, a little bit of guesswork, but at Ras Al Khaimah last week, there was a viral vomiting bug around, and that has stretched on into this week. And there is an unsubstantiated but commonly repeated rumour going around the clubhouse at the moment that the pre-tournament favourite Rasmus Højgaard has fallen foul of this. So don't be on the favourite at the moment would probably be the best piece of advice. I think we're in for a good week, and hopefully Luiten and Larrathabal can do us proud.
So basically, from what Matt has just told us, the favourite, who is Rasmus Højgaard, is kind of making not on the course very often. He's probably nearer the toilet than the 18th tee.
So Matt sort of said that was the rumour going around, and he did send me an update after that actually, and said apparently Højgaard was up all last night, sort of being ill. So
you don't want to be walking 18 holes when you're not sure you want to be too far away from the facilities.
And then tomorrow he goes out at 06:50 local time. So he's got, he can't have a little lie in. He's got to be up at a ridiculous time, which is 3 hours ahead in in Bahrain, as Matt now has taught us to say it properly. Rasmus. I mean, beware the sick golfer and all that, but it's certainly worth knowing that,
isn't there?
Yeah, it's worth knowing that, isn't it? That Rasmus might just think, oh, not for me.
He's possibly a 9-1 to avoid, but the two that Matt did mention on there, Juice-Louten is 35-1 or thereabouts, and Pablo Larrazabal 55-1. If you fancy putting your money on him
as well, Larrazabal I thought could be a decent bet for first round leader as well. He goes out quite late. He goes out 11:30 local time. So if you're in the UK, that's 8:30, so you can watch him there. But yeah, he's
if Rasmus is out early, he's just been chipping through a load of vomit, isn't he? There's a nice thought for you, everybody.
So so good info there from Matt, especially hearing Larrazabal played in the Pro-Am and his team won. He always likes to hear little snippets like that. So I think quite a few people were already thinking of backing him or have backed him this week, and that just kind of frames it, doesn't it? Like, yes.
He didn't say how he got on, did he? Matt didn't say how he got on.
No, I don't know whether he's tweeted that or not.
Yeah, you would suggest that. Well, I would suspect that if he's not actually mentioned it, he's not probably done very well. But you'd crow about it if you got the trophy, wouldn't you?
I'm sure Matt can come back on and deny this, but I'm sure once he played in a Pro-Am in Kazakhstan, and I think he might have had a bit too much to drink the night before, and had to sort of end up in some bushes at some point.
The Late Tea Time podcast would like to disassociate itself with all of Dave Tindall's comments.
Well,
and Matt Cooper, if you want to sue anybody, sue Dave Tindall.
Yeah, I'm sure he told me that, but if I've got it wrong, I am sorry. But I'm just looking at his Twitter feed
Don't
now.
judge everybody by your own standards, Dave Tindall.
No, sorry. No news on his. Looking at his Twitter feed.
I would suggest no news is bad news in terms of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is the Late Tea Time podcast. Sorry, it's a late tea time podcast this time around, but we've got Jordan Spieth 16-1 or thereabouts. Sam Burns is 35-1 or so for Pebble Beach, and then in Bahrain, our suggestions from Matt Cooper. Well, A is to avoid the favourite Rasmus Højgaard, who is sitting on the toilet right now, feeling quite sorry for himself. Juice-Louten is 35-1. Pablo Larrazabal 55-1 to win the thing. DT suggests that you might have a look at him for the first round leader pick. DT, as always, thank you very much indeed for your company on the Late Tea Time podcast today. Thank you out there, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you hopefully around about the same time next week. We might have some, hopefully some quite good news next week. So tune in. We'll see you then. Cheers, everybody.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.